because the general manager tasted the most delicious seaweed. As a result, it couldn't stop eating it. In this way, Cage was invited to the headquarters and told that his seaweed could be put on the shelves of the chain supermarkets. A week later, the quality inspection department would come to inspect his factory. As long as it passed the inspection, his seaweed could enter 50,000 supermarkets. But Cage's biggest problem now was that he didn't have a factory at all. The seaweed is all fried at home by him. He went to the bank to apply for a loan, but he was only 20 years old this year. He still couldn't meet the conditions for a huge loan, although his approach was admirable. With the help of the old housekeeper, he lent one of his abandoned warehouses to Cage. This became his factory, but he couldn't afford the decoration costs either. There was no other way, so Cage sold his car. In order to rush for time, he would lie on the ground to rest when he was tired. On this day he asked the old butler what he would do if he failed. The housekeeper told him not to think too much. No one knew what would happen in the future. Now, the only person Cage could rely on was the old housekeeper. Soon, a week passed. The factory was renovated just in time for the quality inspection, but when they visited the factory, they found a lot of problems. The paint would fall off when touched. There were flies in the workshop. The lighting lamps had no lampshades, and the wash basins were unqualified. Cage said all these would be corrected immediately, but the manager said they would go back to discuss and inform him of the result. At this time, the housekeeper stuffed an envelope into his hand. Tell him to bribe the manager, but Cage didn't want to do that. He wanted to do things down to earth. He corrected all the mistakes. The wash basins were changed to foot-operated ones. The workers all wore masks and work clothes. Fortunately, the quality inspection result finally came out, but at that time, the printer ran out of ink. Cage ran quickly into the sunlight, and finally ushered in hope he passed the inspection. Everything he had paid was worth it. On the day of delivery, Cage hugged the housekeeper and thanked him repeatedly. From failure to success, this old man had been cheering him on. Now he had the ability to pick up his parents and bring them back, and paid off the family's $50 million debt. 2 years later, he had more than 10,000 employees. His seaweed was sold well in 30 countries, with an annual income of up to $2 billion. This story is adapted from a real person in Thailand. The movie is called Billions Boy.